We are continuing to be inspired by Vincent van Gogh and his image of Starry Night. We are going to use a different method called printmaking. We can see that we can make multiple copies of things, and we're going to be using a styrofoam plate. We're going to learn how to make that plate so we can make prints from it today. So you're going to have a plate, piece of styrofoam. It's got a diamond pattern on the back and it's smooth on the front. Be really careful not to press down with your fingers or push on it on the front, because if you sink anything in, then your print won't come out right. On the back, that's the side with the diamonds, you're going to use a Sharpie and you're going to write your name and you're going to put your class code on the back. Then you're done with your Sharpie, so you can put it away. You're going to flip it over to the front, which is again the smooth side, and you're going to take your pencil. You do not want a sharp pencil. That's one of the reasons we don't sharpen these unless they really break. So we want a dull pencil because a sharp one will poke all the way through the styrofoam. You're going to draw a building on here. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. You can make it look like there's a bunch of different buildings by dividing it into sections. You could do it where there's two buildings by doing it into one, or you can make it one very large building. I think for mine, I'm going to divide mine into two sections. So I am going to draw a line gently down the middle of it. And I know it's kind of tough for you to see right now, so I'm going to zoom in just a tad and you're going to be able to see a little bit better. So it's very light, but here's the thing. Once you put a mark, you can't get it off. So it would be a good idea to sketch it or practice on a practice sheet of paper and then draw on here, because again, once it's there, you can't get it off. So you would just have to turn your mistake into a masterpiece. So I am now going to start drawing what I want mine to look like. So I'm going to do some windows. I'm going to do kind of different kinds of windows. You can see I'm not pressing down really hard, and I can do them any way that I want. You do not want to do words. Okay, that's the only thing that I say that you should not do, and that's because when we print it, it's going to print opposite. So that means it prints backwards. And if you have a word, then when we flip it to print it, your word would be backwards, and we wouldn't want that. So that's why we're doing the buildings without any words. Again, you can make your building windows, details, however you want. If you want to make it look like there's a person inside your windows, you can do that. It is totally up to you how you draw your details and your building. I'm leaving all of that up to you. So now that I've got the first part drawn, I'm going to go over it a second time. So that means that I'm carefully, I don't want to push down hard and I don't want to go fast. I am sinking this in a little bit more. And the reason I need it to sink in is whatever is pushed down is not going to get ink on it. So when we roll over it with the ink, the next time you come to art, we, will not get ink in those sunken down parts. The parts that are up or raised, the parts that we haven't drawn in, they will have ink on them. And your print will come out very nicely. So you go through and you're going to simply go over all of those pencil lines. Notice how I'm not holding my pencil straight up and down. I'm kind of holding it on a diagonal or to the side. That is important because, again, if I'm doing like this, it makes it sometimes a little bit harder because it seems to tear the styrofoam. So again, you want it to go through and press down. If I want an area to be white, then it's got to be pushed down. So I think I want this window right here to be white. So I've got to push that whole section down. When you're doing the plate making, you cannot rush through this, because the problem is if you rush through it, your lines will not go down enough. And if your lines don't go down enough, then your print is not going to come out. All right? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to finish doing all of these lines. Now that I've gotten all of those lines sunken in as much as I possibly can, I am going to make sure that this goes into my colored folder. That's where it goes, and it's going to stay until we need it to print. I want to show you my finished prints so you can see how they kind of change. I did not use this print to print this. I used this one, and you can see how dark it's gotten where I've gotten things sunk in. So when I put this one next to that one, you can see how it's opposite. So the ink goes on top, it's pressed to make a print, and when it comes off, it's going to leave whatever you drew on here onto there. So I want you to get started making your printing plate.